Okay, so what we're going to cook now is the fluffy chip. Alright, it's a chip which is crispy, crunchy on the outside, and it's fluffy, nice potato on the inside. It's the perfect chip. You can't go past it. What you need is Agria potatoes. Agria are the best type of potatoes for this, and you need a whole lot of cooking oil. What we're going to do is we're going to do this without a deep fryer, and I'm going to show you how to cook a chip when you don't own a deep fryer. So, when selecting your potatoes for the perfect chip, you need to select long potatoes so that you can get a long chip. You want a long, thick chip, because the reason for that is that we're going to make them crunchy and we're going to make the insides fluffy and soft, so you need quite a large chip. It's the only way you can make a large chip beautiful, crunchy and fluffy on the inside. You're going to keep the skins on, we're not taking them off. Okay. So what you're going to need to do this, we've washed our potatoes now, they're all clean. What we did to wash them was we got the scrubber and we scrubbed them under running water. That cleans them right up, beautiful like this. So now what we want to do is we want to cut the potato into a square. So we need to cut an edge off, put it flat on the edge, and then cut down. What we need to do is make this into a square. So now we've got a square shape, that's perfect. We need to decide how thick we're going to have our chips. So this one I'm going to cut twice. What you want to do with cutting the rest of the potatoes is you want to make them all the same size. This is the size I'm going to go for, so this is the size I'm going to have. I'm going to leave the tips on. The skins are the nicest thing about the chip. So we've washed our potatoes and we've given them a scrub, and the scrub under running water is the best way to wash a potato. So now what you need to do is you need to cut the potato into a square, keeping it as square as you possibly can, so that you have nice normal sized chips. Once we've cut it into a square, that is as square as you need them, we're going to start deciding the size of our chips. So I'm just going to cut them in two and get a size. So the biggest one, obviously you need them the same size to cook at the same temperature. So say this one I'll cut up again to make the same size as the smallest one, because otherwise these will cook too fast, and once we boil them, when we boil them, we're going to have to throw this one away because it's just going to crumble. So what you want to do is you want to, once you've cut all your chips, I've cut all my chips now, you want to wash them under cold water. You don't want to use warm water, please don't use warm water, you'll start to cook the potato. I suppose it doesn't matter if you're putting them straight into boil, but you need to wash all the starch off the potato. So just you wash them, get all the starch off, drain them out. Once you've drained them out, put them into boiling water, which you already have boiling over here. Make sure that your oil's on as well. Your oil should be on, starting to warm up. You don't want to put your oil too high. If you put your oil too high, it'll get too hot and it will spontaneously combust. So that means it'll catch on fire. You don't really know what that means. But so what we're going to do, we're not going to use our oil straight away. So make sure that you're only heating it up a little bit. Just keep it on a low heat, because as soon as we're done boiling these potatoes, we're only going to blanch them. So we're only going to half boil them. As soon as that's done, once they're all done, we're going to put them in the fridge, let them cool down. Once they're cooled down, we're going to put them in a sieve, and we're going to just shuffle them around to dent the edges. What that does is when you put them in the fryer, the oil gets in all the edges and gives it that crispy shell, while the blanching them in the pot will make the inside nice and fluffy soft, and that's how you get the perfect crunchy chip. I'll see you after these are done. So now we've boiled our chips. So we've just had them in the hot water. What we want to do is we want to tip the water out and put them in cold water straight away. We want to stop the cooking process. So cold water is a must. You need to run them in cold water until the chips themselves are cold. Okay? So once we've done that, we'll come back to you. So once you've cooled down your potatoes, what you'll need to do is you'll need to get a sieve. You'll need to put a few in the sieve. We can only do a couple at a time because we've got a small sieve. So we'll take some out, we'll make sure it's thin, and all you want to do is just shake them around like this in the sieve. And as you can see, they'll start forming rough edges. So as you can see, we've cooked down our potatoes, we've got our sieve. The bigger the sieve you have, the better, the more chips you can put in. So we've only got 5 chips in here at a time. It's going to take a little while, but it's okay. What you want to do is you want to get them in the sieve straight after you've cooled them down, and you want to start shaking them around in the sieve. What that's going to do is roughen up the edges so that we can get that nice crispy crunch at the end of the chip making. So you want to be quite rough. You know, it depends on how much you cooked them in the water. The more you cook them, obviously, the less rough you're going to be. We didn't cook ours very much. After this, you need to pop them in the fridge. After we've popped them in the fridge, we'll see. Alright, so what you want to do now is you don't want to put them in the fridge yet. You just wait to put them in the fridge. So once we've just had the sieve and we've just been roughing up the edges. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put them straight into the deep fryer. But the kicker is that we're just going to put them in the deep fryer for maybe a minute and a half. A minute and a half only. Have a timer out. Time it. As soon as a minute and a half is up, take them out. Put them somewhere nice. All together. You can't do them all at once, obviously, depending on how many you're doing. But as soon as they're all up, as soon as they're all done, put them in the fridge to cool down. For time's sake, we won't be doing this. We'll be just deep frying them, letting them cool as fast as possible. They'll probably be warm when we do it again. You get a better result if they're cold by the time that you're putting them back in for the second time. So it's a double deep fry and a boil. So what we're going to do now is we're going to grab our chips and we're going to do the first deep fry. We have our timer ready for a minute and a half. And we're going to put them in. Be careful when putting them in. All you have is a pot, you don't have a basket, and you don't want to plop the oil everywhere. So I'm just going to gently put all the chips into the oil. Our oil's already hot. We're going to start the timer right now, as soon as we put them all on. Be very careful. Hot oil scalds, and you won't come back from that one. See you after. So now we've cooled the chips down. We put them in the freezer for 10 minutes on this tea towel, and they're perfect. Just come and have a look at how they are. They're just beautiful. This is exactly how they should look at this stage. So all we need to do now is have another one time in the deep fryer. Cook them to crispy perfection. They should be golden when you take them out. They'll be crunchy. So this is our chips cooking for the second time. This is the second time. So what we're looking for through the top of the oil is just a crisp golden look to them. It's quite hard to see if you have dirty oil. With this clean oil it's quite easy to see. We'll talk to you soon. And this is how it should turn out. Nice, crispy, golden chips served with lettuce and tomato sauce. Cheers.